I actually do want to work off a comment someone left last video because I want to clarify something. This individual says, most alt people I have met have been bad people who worship the devil in secret. Now, in my video and in the pinned comment, I did mention that I have not had a positive experience dating women who have a scene aesthetic or an emo aesthetic or a gothic, vampiric aesthetic, whatever, right? Though I don't believe every female who is into that stuff isn't nice to be around. I just haven't had a good experience despite how much people obsess over goth chicks and other things within that universe. It's worth noting that my credibility to my experience and the judgment I have for my dating history that a lot of you may already know from watching my videos is genuinely terrible and should not be taken with personal consideration or be a model, a reference point for anyone who may want healthy relationships. I say this openly because I have a long track record of not only admitting, but actively pursuing relationships with women who are, to put lightly, not the most stable. Why do I tend to gravitate or continuously date women who are unhinged or can be romantically toxic, despite being aware or seeing signs or red flags since day one? Because it feels homely to me. I've dated women who have been very normal, per se, normal, right, in quotes, and mentally well. And I just personally am not into it. I feel disconnected and I feel lonely somehow. Even if they communicate a lot with me and show me a lot of affection, which is the only thing a lot of people ask for, right? I still feel detachment. This is something that should be solved in therapy or some sort of system that isn't codified. And for those who know my backstory, you probably already know why I'm like that. And for those who don't really know me or watch my videos or where I talked about my past, just to be clear, this tendency of mine is not entirely random. Okay, so a lot of people in general struggle with relationships, romantic or not. Some go their entire lives without having a true, meaningful, and romantic connection with somebody. So I don't want to take up space in someone's life when I know they could find someone better suited for them. Like one of these individuals who struggle with relationships, right? Knowing how I get detached, yet wouldn't in a chaotic relationship, I shouldn't be the person someone invests their time into if they're looking for something stable and fulfilling. I can be very grateful for people who enter my life. I can be, but I've come to realize many years ago that I'm not very good at appreciating them in the moment. And that perhaps is the real issue. So when this individual mentions alt people being bad people, right, at least from his experience, and I guess this may be encouraged by what I said in my video about my poor experience or my pinned comment. With everything I said so far, my poor experience is very likely my fault. I can't necessarily control how other people are, but I do have to take accountability for entering relationships with people when I know that my attraction to them is rooted in unresolved issues within myself. This isn't some unchangeable fate I have in my life, right? But it's something I need to work on as a man. One day, I hope I can break the cycle. What's funny about this devil worship comment, right? And by the way, I'm not flaming you by any means, okay? I like when you guys leave comments, right? It inspires me to make future video topics, right? So in the end of last video, I mentioned succubi. And the point I made towards the end of the video about succubi is that people romanticize succubi as some flirty, demonic girlfriend who is more or less misbehaving rather than the actual horrifying root of their mythological origins, right? If you research the history behind these creatures, succubi were terrifying. They were basically parasites. They manipulated and destroyed their victims. Cool, yeah, a seductive demon woman who will probably be your supernatural girlfriend, right? And, you know, all y'all want these succubus. Listen, it's not like that. The history, they basically preyed on you, and not just fulfilling bodily desires, but they psychologically drained you. And once they had you emotionally empty, mentally defeated, heartbroken, devastated, lonely, and they took whatever they can from you, they just left you. Sounds like a lot of ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends to an extent, right? Sometimes you feel used by you feel used because somebody simply makes you feel good, and you didn't realize that you were so caught up with how good you felt or how good they made you feel in the moment, but in the reality of what they were doing to you. But later you realize this person was only here for their own satisfaction and their bodily needs fulfilled. Or maybe their dark passions needed to be filled themselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Such as parasitically draining you. I won't get too much into energies and all that stuff, but you get the gist of what I mean when I say they are parasitic, right? I remember years ago, I used to talk to this dude on Discord, and he would link me 4chan threads. The paranormal board X, he would link me threads, and since he knows I'm really into all this occult stuff and mythology, he would link me a thread from 4chan, the X board, paranormal, right? And he would be like, cool, what do you think about this? So what he linked me, I don't know if this is still in the case on the paranormal board. I don't really check 4chan. Maybe somebody who does can confirm in the comments. But apparently, last I recall, there used to be a succubus mega thread. People or somebody kept making threads and it was always populated, where everyone talked about succubi, apparently visiting them while they slept, or having certain dreams where, a demonic woman sort of took advantage of them at night, or they woke up extremely like lustful. And what this dude wanted what he wanted to show me specifically by linking me this thread on Discord was that somebody posted a ritual in one of the mega threads. A ritual. This was years ago, remember. I don't remember exactly how the ritual went. All I can recall is that you had to like write something down several times, something about dropping blood or cutting your thumb. I don't remember, okay? Maybe I'm mixing something else up, okay, with how it was. Now, just to re-answer the question that he gave to me, to you guys, what do I think about that? Well, I cannot prove this, but it's just my speculation in terms of the occult world. I'm not an atheist. I do believe there is a creator or designer. Can I prove that? Not really. I mean, we can prove the design of the universe. The question is, who designed that? But some people say it just magically appeared, right? Whatever. This is not the point. My hypothesis is that there are forces or energies that exist within this cosmos of existence that fulfill your passions. Aku. Passions? What are passions? If you look up the definition of passion, passion has two definitions. One is biblical, and I have a speculation about that too. One definition is a strong and barely controllable emotion, or desire, I would say. And the biblical definition is the suffering and death of Jesus. Why do I think these two definitions are correlated? Well, in Eastern religions, especially Dharmic religions, and they talk about this in Abrahamic religions as well, when you have excessive bodily demands, you create your own suffering. Buddha talks about this. Passions lead to attachments. Attachment leads to suffering. I think the word passion having these two definitions is symbolic in Christian mysticism, or at least Catholic mysticism, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, the more you attach to materialistic things or your bodily desires, the more you attach to it, you begin to suffer. And eventually it will lead to your own death. Right? Maybe you're smoking too much. Maybe you're eating too much. Maybe you're, spanking the, too much, you know what I'm saying? And listen, 7 deadly sins, right? In biblical terms, right? Gluttony, lust, Anyway, my speculation was that I feel like there are forces or energies in this universe or dimension, whatever, that fulfill your passions or materialistic desires. So when you do these rituals, and it's all about intention when you do rituals, right? If your intention is money, lust, or anything that is attached to this physical plane, I feel like you're not really asking God for stuff or tapping into God's consciousness. I believe you're potentially interacting with these other entities that exist out here. If you want to be that guy, you can call them demons. Muslims, you can call them jinns. Whatever the case is. This is my personal hypothesis, okay? Hypothesis. So this succubus ritual, after explaining my hypothesis and my personal take on it to this guy, he agreed with me. He thinks this is dangerous or whatever. And he thinks this is stupid. He thinks none of this stuff is real. This guy's like atheist pretty much, right? So he says none of this stuff is real. This is all like hocus pocus. So I said, all right. whatever. You know, it's kind of disrespecting my hypothesis. You know, I don't like when people say like, yo, if somebody has like a different belief or a hypothesis, you don't have to like be disrespectful about it. You know what I'm saying? If you're atheist, fine, whatever, dude. Like, why are you so angry all the time? Like, bro, why are you so angry? Like, it's just an idea. Anyway, whatever. So about a week later, this guy tells me that he ends up meeting this girl online. He met her on Discord, on some Discord server, right? She lives across the world from him too. So long story short, last year, after not talking to me for many years, he finally hits me up and he says, Aku, this girl stole everything I had. Not in the literal sense, but she used me. Everything was great at first. She made me feel so good. And she kept up with my lust. She was always ready to go, you know what I'm saying? And you know, we would hang out certain times all the time on Discord. And then over time, everything felt like a chore. The only thing we could relate to or spend genuine time together doing that we both enjoyed is something, you know, lewd. And I said to him, what really happened between you two? And he told me so many things. She was sneaky. She was talking to multiple guys and draining them too. You know what I'm saying? She was looting with them despite being in a committed relationship. She's a cheater, serial cheater. She would sneak conversations in with other guys or spend time in voice chat with other guys as, you know, she was pretending to be like, I'm going to bed tonight. Good night. You know, fake away mode, but she's secretly on another Discord server, you know, talking to somebody. You know how a Discord social media is, all that fakeness, right? And he said, Aku, I got to tell you something. I must admit. Remember a few years ago when I showed you that succubus thread? And I said, I don't remember. And I truthfully didn't. And he sent me the ritual. And I finally remembered. I was like, oh. And he said, I didn't want to tell you, but I did it the same night I showed you. And I did it because I was desperate. I was lonely, you know. And it was weird because after I did that ritual, I met that girl a week after. And I'm not into paranormal stuff. You know, I'm like atheist, bro. I don't believe in energies or all that woo-woo, but I just find it completely coincidental that I tried something and this happened. And just for some context, when he met this girl years ago, I actually met her too. He introduced me to her. We were in a group Discord call, right? And I don't know how to say this in a nice way. I'll try. Okay, I'll try. I mean, I don't know. Should I even have sympathy for her since she's a serial cheater? I mean, okay, listen. She is very she's very delayed. And I'm not exaggerating or trying to be rude. You're going to see why. Furthermore, come to find out, she can't read or write. She's illiterate. So not only is she illiterate, but it takes her forever to process information in her brain. I felt bad when I met her because I was judging very quickly in my head when I did meet her. I was like, is she shy or something? Is she nervous around me? She can't read anything aloud or out loud, right? Whatever the right terminology is, right? She can't read anything. And the way she types, it's in cipher. I don't even know what she's saying to me. She's sending me messages on Discord. I have to literally decipher her messages. Like, the spelling is messed up. The grammar is messed up. Words are backwards. You ever play Minecraft and look at the enchanting table text language? She was like writing an enchanting table. I don't know what she was saying to me. I'm not trying to be a jerk. True story. I put one of her messages in Google Translate because I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I'm sorry. I thought she was, I don't want to be like, what? Huh? I don't want to keep replying that to her. Like, what? I don't know. She thought I was rushing or something. I don't know what you're saying to me. And I felt bad because I was making her, I thought I was making her nervous. That's what I thought. And maybe she was freaking out when she spoke to me because she wasn't familiar with me. But I was told by the guy that she had dyslexia. Dang. Okay. Oh, very unfortunate. Truly. It makes sense. Now I feel really bad for getting frustrated in my head. I never openly expressed or disrespected her, by the way. I never did that. I would read her messages or interact with her, and I would just be thinking in my head, like, what's going on here? So I was just like, dang, man, that's sad, you know? Also, besides the dyslexia, to this day, I'm not sure why it takes her forever to process information whenever you tell her stuff. Like, you tell her something, it's like an extreme delay before she realizes what you said. And even in voice chat, by the way, voice chat, someone will vocally speak to her. She's like that too. But that might be another situation, right? Maybe she has another situation, and I didn't pry into it once I found out she was dyslexic, right? So she was born with something very unfortunate, all right? Whatever. I supported their relationship regardless. I encouraged it, actually, because he was happy. And that's all I can ever ask for. And you know how guys are when they start dating a new girl, they disappear from the homies, right? So that's why I didn't speak to him for multiple years. He ran off with this girl and left me in the dark. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's how just guys are. But now, come to find out, years later, she's a serial cheater. She's manipulative. She took advantage of him numerous times, played him like he was stupid countless times. Although she can't read or write, and it takes her forever to process information, she is very sneaky. She only has 2 personality traits, which I noticed too when I met her years ago. Her 2 personality traits are either she's bored or she's lustful. And I guess she likes manipulating people too. She likes taking advantage of people. She likes having like 20 dudes talk to her while she's in a relationship, and she's looting with all of them. Listen, that when I met her, and you know, this guy, he also told me this too. He didn't realize until I brought into like realization to him, yo, maybe it was just me because from my short experience from meeting her, but she's either bored or lustful. Like, she has no personality. She has no emotional range. That's it. I don't know what's wrong with her. So him telling me that he did this succubi ritual, ends up meeting a girl 1 week later, and she turns out to be exactly like this. I don't know about y'all, but listen, I feel bad for him, but low key, you asked for this. You literally asked for a succubus. You got one. And she did exactly what a succubus does. She used you. She manipulated you. She took what she can. And she jumped to whoever was convenient to give her satisfaction and attention and fulfilled her lust until you finally broke from it psychologically. And when she realized you were broken and empty inside and on the verge of ending it all, she ghosted you. Hey, if you watch last video, see how everything comes together? This is why I mentioned, even though this stuff is fiction and glorified or romanticized by Hollywood or video games, I feel like we shouldn't ignore the base mythology and history behind these concepts or ideas. It's not worth messing with stuff like that, at least in my opinion. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen. Not the